All I can say about Clay's comments are, wow, that was awesome. I too want to thank each of you for being here this morning, people that we consider also to be part of Faith Family's family, and for your much appreciated generosity in supporting Faith Family today and in years past. I also wanted to put a Kavanaugh joke in here right now, but it got killed on the way over here. So, for the past couple of years, we've been working towards resolution of a few major challenges that have somewhat limited our ability to put in place a long-term vision for Faith Family. You've heard repeatedly how generous St. Thomas has been since we've been here in providing our clinic and parking spaces on a pro bono basis. But we've always had in this arrangement, and rightfully so, for St. Thomas to be able to take that property back at any time on 1 year's notice. And they have repeatedly told us not to worry, this can never happen, but as a board and as a management team, you're always stuck with that sort of, well, what if question. So we committed intentionally as a board to set our sight on two major goals. First, we want Faith Family to have its own building. And we feel like we need this to provide the long-term stability and assurance of continuity of services for our patients for the next generation. We knew this was going to be a heavy lift because we also know, because of the reasons that Parker and Clay have spoken about, that we needed to stay in or in close proximity to the medical center because of all the relationships that we have built over the years. And we all know what's happening and has been happening for some time to real estate prices in Nashville. But we weren't to be deterred. So secondly, we also need a lot more space than we have. Not only to provide for the care of the patients that we currently have, because I know we have many volunteers here, and those of you who work in the center know how cramped we are. We're actually in the same space that we started with in 2001. We have a little over 3,000 feet in that clinic, and it's a real challenge. But we know also, as Clay mentioned, that we've got a growing population here. The Affordable Care Act has not met expectations. So we know we're going to continue to see year after year patients who will fall through the cracks, and they need a safety net, and that's Faith Family. To pursue our goals, we set in motion a few initiatives on somewhat of a parallel basis. We first needed to satisfy ourselves that we could raise the money to build or buy our own facility. In 2017, we hired a consultant. We did a feasibility study. Those results came back very promising. So we quietly launched our capital campaign. And we knew this was going to be a challenge because of where we needed to be and how expensive it would be. But Jennifer and I have recently been interviewed by consultants of a private school and a church, and we learned in that process that there are now 62 or 3 capital campaigns underway or about to be launched in Nashville. So we've got some competition. Secondly, to help identify and evaluate real estate options, I enlisted the help of Rob Lowe and McLean Towery, who are partners with my son Elliot in several local, what we hope to be very lucrative, real estate ventures, to advise Faith Family on all real estate related matters. Finally, we went to the St. Thomas executives and we told them how much we appreciated and continue to appreciate what they're doing for us, but we felt like we really needed to move ahead with achieving the goal of having a much larger facility. They not only told us how much they appreciated the relationship that we had with them, but they also said they would be willing to work with us to see on some type of collaborative basis if we could work out something where we could solve our issues. And after exploring a few things that didn't work out, not for lack of effort, St. Thomas dropped a bomb on us out of the blue. I mean that in a good way. They told us if we could assemble enough property to build our own building adjacent to the current site where we were operating, they would give us a 50-year ground lease on that property. This became a real game changer and provided us with the incentive we needed to do everything we could to bring our goals to reality. And when we left this meeting, Laura and I were very composed and very stoic until we got on the elevator. Laura lost it. I don't know whether she was doing the floss or the Watusi or whatever you call it, but she was sure cutting it up for good reasons. So I want to show you this slide, which is where this is an aerial, of course, of three pieces of property. The one in orange is where our current clinic is. As you can see, it's on the corner of 21st and Murphy, which is right in the heart of the medical center, 1 block from St. Thomas's campus. The blue parcel has a house on it, and for several years, Faith Family has leased the ground floor of that house. And while we were actively engaged in working on our campaign, we unexpectedly received notice that the owner of the house had put it on the market, shortly to be followed by a notice that there was a credible offer to purchase the property. Fortunately, we had in our lease the right to match any offer, and we proceeded immediately to be able to do that based on the faith that we would, with God's help, be able to raise the money we needed. So I think it was August of last year that we actually closed on that parcel. So then our attention immediately turned to the mission critical piece to the puzzle, and that's the parcel in red. This was a different kettle of fish. We had a somewhat non-motivated seller who was very happy where he was. He's a State Farm agent. And Rob and McLean engaged with him immediately, and they told us that this guy was going to be a bit more of a challenge, but that they felt confident that they could get him where he needed to be. And he was not insistent, but he required that we help him find a suitable location for him to relocate, that it had to be in his budget, it had to fit his size parameters, and he wanted to do a tax-free exchange, which is another issue. But this took months and months and months. But I'm happy to be able to report that this past month we closed on this piece of property. And I want, these guys have put a lot of work into this, and I want Robin McLean, Elliot, you keep your seat. I want Robin McLean to stand up and be recognized for the work you've done for us. there's no way any of this, there's no way any of this would have happened without St. Thomas's ground lease. No way. This is not only a multi-million-dollar gift to Faith Family, but it keeps us where we are, which is where we absolutely need to be. And it's a perfect, the way it's set up geographically, with the zoning and other factors McLean can tell you about. It's an ideal piece of property for us to build our building. And I can't today tell you what kind of building we're going to build or how big it's going to be, but I can tell you where it's going to be. It's going to be right there where those red and blue circles are. And we're excited about that, as we should be. As I mentioned earlier, we launched our campaign in 2017. Our first stop was with our board, and we felt like we needed to get them committed before we could really reach out to others in the community. And I'm happy to be able to tell you that our board has pledged $750,000 to kick this campaign off with 100% participation. Board members, stand up. Stand up. This is a big one. We're also extremely happy to let you know that within the past 60 days, we have received $1 million each from the HCA Foundation and the Frisk Foundation. And we'll be eternally thankful and grateful to these wonderful Nashville institutions for their generosity and for giving our campaign such a tremendous boost. We have received another $1,250,000 from other foundations and an additional $1.2 million from a small number of individual donors. So in total, as of this morning, we have either received or have pledges for $5.2 million towards our building. So between now and year end, we're going to be wrapping up this private part of our campaign. In mid-January, we'll make a public announcement with the press and all that goes with that. And our goal is to have all of our pledges committed by May or June of next year. So we're well on our way, and thanks to the generosity of these people, we're off to a tremendous start. So can we show the rendering? Yeah. Faith Family Forward, Building Healthier Lives. That's our campaign theme. And this is probably, we got this last week. I mean, it's brand new. We're in the very early stages of evaluating square footage and cost options. And we're in a great position with the success we've had with our campaign to dream big, but much work remains before we will be able to definitively decide on the building that we'll ultimately construct. But our plan is to begin construction in May or June of next year, with a grand opening just about 2 years from now. So truly, brighter days are ahead for Faith Family. And on behalf of our board, our management team, and most importantly, our patients, thank you again for being here, to sharing our good news, and to celebrate our being able to look to Faith Family's future with great confidence and excitement. God bless you, your families, and God bless Faith Family for the good work it does. Thank you.